Holy shit. Today is December 6th, 2024, and exactly 16 years ago today, I came to Canada from Nepal with my family. This video right here is a reflection of my 16 years in Canada. I just want to share with you guys my upbringing, share different stories of different places I stayed at. When I first started, I watched a lot of videos like this, and when times were tough, remembering stories like this is what kept me going. So not only do I want to share with you guys, be vulnerable and show the raw story of my life, but also show some of you guys listening that, it's possible. I came from literally nothing, from a different country, not even speaking or barely speaking the language here, to building a whole empire. So I want to inspire you guys to understand that if an immigrant dropout could do this, you sure can as well. So in this video, we go through my childhood, my schools, visit places that I grew up in, show you guys literally real proof of how I was raised, ultimately share the story of a broke immigrant kid just figuring out life in Canada and being able to see success at a level that was not even imaginable to a younger version of me. This is the place that I landed in 16 years ago, Toronto Pearson Airport. From Nepal, man, on a nice cold December day just like this when it was snowing. One of the first times I've ever seen snow. First thing I did was just, grab a jacket, and I had no idea what I had, the life I had coming in front of me. Man, it was the first time I ever went on an airplane. The airplane food sucked because I grew up eating village food, so they were just giving us, it was a Chinese airplane, so they were giving us food that, man, a couple of times I even gagged, What's funny is that on the way here, we were at Hong Kong for 11 hours, and all we did for 11 hours is just go up and down escalators because we didn't have that in Nepal. So for fun, we went to the bathrooms where there were dryers, which I'd never seen, and going up and down escalators, which I had never done. In the Nepal airport, there was only one. When I first landed, I was overwhelmed, one, by just how cold it was, but two, by just the abundance of everything. When I first came to Canada, I actually gained a lot of weight because I was eating so much, right? Because all these things that I saw on TV growing up, like pizza, all this, I never had. So for the first time, I was eating all these things like pizza, burger, and I gained a lot of weight. So right after I landed, my dad came to pick us up. We got our bags, and then we went to our apartment, 2-bedroom apartment with my family. We're literally living in the sky. When I first went to the apartment, to be honest, I didn't know what to expect. To be honest, I felt like a lot of people just fear-mongered a lot of bad things to me about it. I was like, oh, be careful of this, be careful. So in a way, I was scared. I was very scared because it's a new country, new society, new way of life. I don't know if I'm right or wrong about anything. So this is the first ever place I ever lived at when I came to Canada. Used to first live on the 7th floor right there, and the 6th floor right there, I still remember. And this is my playground, man. This is where I grew up. You know what I mean? Is there used to be a pool here. We used to just try to play soccer around here. When I first came here, for the first couple of years, I wasn't the best student. I gained a lot of weight. I kind of just stayed complacent. I had my computer, so all I did was, man, just play on the computer, go on the internet, learn stuff, find places like, Twitter I joined when I was 9 years old, right? I was watching YouTube videos in 2009. Honestly, living here, it wasn't as pleasant because financially, I knew my parents were not in the best place, right, to support us. They both had to go work. Since the first month we got here, my mom started working just so we can have an earning, and this is right after the 2008 recession, so finding jobs was hard. So even my dad, he was struggling, and these guys are moving their whole family from Nepal, where they own a lot of things, to moving here where they have to work minimum wage job just to support their kids and family. I think most of the problems we had, it always, even if it wasn't the main thing, deeply rooted inside, it had to do with finances. So just here, man, I just have a lot of memories of just, having obstacles that were just a lot of financial obstacles, right? Not being able to afford things, not being able to get the nicest things, us having to rent one of the rooms in our house so we can make some money so it helps with the rent. What I'm grateful for is even after all that, like my dad still went out and got me a computer. I was able to use that computer to just get the initial stage, understand this online world, get familiar with this online world, I would say. When I first moved here, again, I'm having a vision of a childhood that I see in the movies, of these kids that go to school in the movies and TV shows. And it was nothing like that, man. We really struggled. We had flipping cockroach infestation. Sometimes there was rats, there was like whole years where we had bed bugs that we had to deal with. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows as I thought it was when I was back in Nepal. When I thought I came here, I was gonna live like a king, and that was just definitely not the reality, I would say. Also, coming here, something I wasn't used to is like both of my parents kind of not being there. And I think that's why early on I had to take on a role where I had to grow up earlier, because even though I am 10 years old, I'm babysitting my sister that's 6 years old because my parents are going to work, right? We can't afford babysitters. Or even during the summertime, it's just me and my sister, right? And that's because they had to work. They had to go and make sure that they can have a living so we can support ourselves here. It's not that they were earning a lot where they could save up and eventually move out. Like, it was just enough so we can survive. So right now we are on the way to my second high school, actually, because my first high school I went to, it was a science school, and I thought I wanted to be like an engineer or like a scientist, but I realized how much I did not want to do that. So in 2015, I actually went to the high school that we're about to go to right now. And why the high school is so special and important to me is because that's where I really found my hunger, for wanting to do something outside of school, right? Because before that, I was just like everyone else, man. I was just trying to get the best grades, which I did. I was always a top 3 student, and I thought I was gonna go to the best business school. And I didn't know what I was gonna do in the future, but I just was like, I'm gonna get the best marks so I can go to the best business school and figure out from there. We're currently at the high school that I went to growing up. I'm not Catholic, but I went to a Catholic school because this is where all my friends went. And the reason this place is so important is because the end of my grade 11 year, which is around 2017, is when I realized that, maybe school's not an option. And that's coming from someone that has been like the top 3 student, since middle school, every year in my grade for my mark. For some reason, this one year towards the end, I remember just questioning my reality, man, because I'm like, yo, listen, what I care about more right now is solving a lot of these problems I have in my life than another degree, or going to school for 4 years, trying to figure it out, trying to brag about, oh, I go to this prestigious school. Like, I really realized, man, it's like my family's struggling, I'm struggling, I can barely afford things, you know what I mean? I just started working then, but I can barely afford anything. I started, really looking into ways to make money online. I started searching up all these things and just trying things, When I realized that school's not for me, what's funny is that my marks went down the next year because I stopped caring. I started skipping school. I started not caring about homework. I started finding ways to just get things done. Everything changed about me, bro. Even my teacher used to kind of like say to me, he's like, you've changed. And she kind of saw it in a negative way. But I was so sold onto this vision of this online marketing, these online business thing, that you couldn't tell me otherwise. I literally used to skip school in the morning to make YouTube videos. And I wasn't making anything. People made fun of me, but I still did it. What's good is that I think my parents, man, I actually kind of hid it from them. And I know this is a bit controversial, but for me, what I realized is that I don't want no one's opinion. Let me just do something without having someone tell me I should do this, I should do that, because my parents, they want the best for me, but they don't know what's best for me, right? So I felt like if I shared some of these thoughts and feelings and what I was doing at that time to them, it would be hard for them to relate, and it would be hard for them to, in a way, support, because this is something that's new to them, right? They're not used to this. This is also the school where I had some amazing teachers that really made me fall in love with marketing, you know, and some of the things I learned in my grade 11 marketing class, I still use to this day. Outside of this school just being a place where I realized I don't want to do things, you know, this is also the place where I've had some of the best teachers and some of the best mentors in my life that still I'm in touch with and I still talk to and, you know, have conversations with. And even when I went back and told them I dropped out and this is what I do, you know, they showed me nothing but love and support. Like they genuinely, and it was came from a genuine place. In life, man, sometimes it's hard to find that, you know, it's really hard to find because people want you to do what they see in you. But a lot of these teachers, they were very authentically and genuinely happy for me. So when I had the moment of understanding that, you know, the traditional route might not be the way, I tried so many different things, man. I tried drop shipping, I tried SMMA, crypto. I thought all these things might be the thing that would get me freedom, but that thing ended up actually being email marketing, you know, a skill that I had learned just trying all these things as I was trying to make money online. Email marketing got me my dream life, right? I dropped out of school because of email marketing. I met some of the most awesome people in the world because of email marketing. I got to travel the world. I even moved out to my own place at the age of 19, literally like 5 years ago today, right? All because of email marketing. But there was also something missing in my life, like internally, you know, I really wasn't fulfilled, even though I was making more money and had all these things that I couldn't even imagine when I was a kid. I was still not fully fulfilled. And the reason I wasn't fulfilled is because deep down, I knew that, you know, I'm enjoying the fruits of my labor, but at the end of the day, my parents still live in the same rented house that I grew up in, you know? And as an immigrant, every immigrant takes pride in achieving the Canadian dream or American dream of owning the place that they live in. You know, you came to this country and now the place you live in, you own it. And I know they were not able to do it for themselves because of just some obstacles that they had gone through personally in their life. So at the age of 21, you know, after a Mexico trip, when I really realized like I need to do this to my family. At the age of 21, it was a very long process, but I was able to buy them a $1.25 million house, you know, and that's the house right here. Man, just going back to, you know, my first apartment, going back to school and just retelling the story, I was able to somewhat relive these moments and stories I'm telling you guys and just had a moment of gratitude. I'm thinking back at times in those environments where I felt hopeless, where there was so much uncertainty of if things will work out or not. And just to go back and see that, you know, it did. It was a great reminder of just perseverance. 2008, I came to Canada. 2014, we moved away from the apartments. 2015, I started in my, you know, new high school. 2016, I started learning about the online marketing world and found people like Brandon Carter. 2017, I made my first ever dollar online and started trying things online. 2018, I acquired the skill of email marketing and actually started to earn a living online through that. And 2020, I got to enjoy all the fruits of my labor, you know, traveling the world, getting my own condo, doing all these fun things, buying nice stuff, but was really not truly fulfilled. And in 2021, I was able to buy my parents a $1.25 million house. If you are an immigrant and you're coming to this new country, what you should focus on is understanding how you can provide value to the market, you know, supply and demand. They don't care where you're from. They don't care if you're from Nepal, Mars, India. They don't care. Your job is to be useful towards the right people. If you have the skills of video, leverage that. If you have the skills of marketing, leverage that. Focus on the skills and position yourself in a place where you can help people with those skills. And if you can help the right people, you'll get paid. Biggest takeaway from this video is that anything is possible. I am an immigrant. I am a dropout that built a business writing words, in the English language, and was able to also show thousands of people how to do the same. What I did was found an opportunity and took full advantage of it. In 2025, I have a lot of things planned. And if you want to find out what those are, you're just gonna have to wait.